Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes the family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional evening. So tonight, I'm going to keep it simple, but I definitely wanted to say rest in peace to Mr. Kevin Samuels. Whether you loved him or hate him, it's like I said. At the end of the day, there's no need to be disrespectful to the dead. Just because somebody passed away that you don't particularly care for, I am going to start off this program by saying rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. I agreed with maybe 20% of the things that he said and what he stood for, but one thing I will agree with that he stood for is he stood for his own convictions and his own principles. And at the end of the day, as an adult, I don't think you can ask for anything more. It's like, hey, we don't need to. It's okay to not agree with everything that happens in the world. It's like you saw that nonsense what happened with Dave Chappelle and how that guy's not even being charged by the LAPD. That's very troublesome all at the same time. But I will say, with all sincerity, is that Kevin Samuels lived. He died. He was still fairly young, 55, 56, 57 years old, I believe. Fortunately, and 2 years, 3 years ago, nobody really heard of him. Let's be honest. But in the last 2 years, during the pandemic, he's made quite a name for himself throughout the internet, and they called him a misogynistic guy. But I'm like, I'm not going to say that because when you're a male nowadays in today's world and you're not shy and timid and you're a person that stands under conviction, you're considered a misogynist. And I don't buy into that nonsense whatsoever because just like not all women are the same, not all men are the same. That's just not the world we live in. I always say if this world was the same, this would be a very, very boring place. If every country was the same, every culture was the same, this would be a very freaking boring place to live in. That's just what it is. All right. But I will say with all sincerity that it was interesting to see the craziness that was happening on Twitter. That's why I don't even spend that much time on Twitter. Of all the social media websites, I don't spend that much time. I saw a little bit of it on Facebook and on Instagram, but mostly on Twitter, where people were, dogging him out and calling him names because, I mean, hey, he wasn't the most likable person on the planet, but he had a great platform on social media. And but he stood, and the thing is, it's like you had men and women that didn't care for him, and you had men and women that did care for him. As far as his demeanor and his delivery, because at the end of the day, he talked about different ways of people to improve themselves. One, but another thing you got to bear in mind is that he spoke some truths that a lot of people don't like to hear. A lot of men and women do not like to hear truths when it comes to their lives and their lifestyles. Especially, we live in the world of the brat. I call it the brat nation nowadays, where everybody thinks that they're right all the time. I can be corrected. I can be wrong. And guess what? It's not the end of the world if I'm corrected or if I'm wrong in something. I even say, "Oh, I didn't know that," or I'll even say, "I stand corrected." It's not the end of the freaking world if we do not agree on every single freaking thing. That's just keeping it real. I can't put it any other way on that aspect. All right. Another thing to keep in mind is that um, the convictions that he was talking about when it comes to relationships. A lot of people don't want to hear. We live in a world. This is comes to men and women. We live in a world where people don't want to live be told the truth when it comes to relationships, marriage, parenthood, just regular dating. No, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth when it comes to these things. And when they do hear some sort of truth because it's not their truth, like Kevin, and I'm just going to go off of some of the talking points that Kevin Samuel talked about, like um, increasing your income. Men, you should be working every day, every year to increase your value as a man and being the best man that you can be, and work on increasing your skill set so that you can increase your income, work on building businesses, work on having assets, work on investing and things of that nature. These things matter. Work on your health, and the same things when it comes to women. It's like, hey, work on your health, work on looking and being presentable as possible, because we live in a culture where looking nowadays, being presentable. One thing I will give Kevin Samuels, like I said, didn't agree with everything. I'm wearing a suit today. The last time I wore a suit in my program was New Year's Eve 2020. So I'm wearing a suit today in honor of Kevin Samuels, one, and then two, I miss wearing suits. I'm not going to be like him and wear a suit every time I get online, but I will say that I maybe in honor of him and in honor of me just missing dressing up. I'll maybe do it like once a month or whatnot. Because hey, I look good. Anyways, but I got to talk some trash. But anyways, I'm just gonna keep it real in regards to um, Kev. He talked about that, and a lot of people don't want to be told, hey, you need to work on being healthier. A lot of people don't like to be told, hey, you should try to look a little classier. Don't have everything hanging out. A lot of people don't like to be told, hey, maybe you should read a little bit more so that you can increase your vocabulary. You should not constantly participate in what they call thought behavior and slut culture, and this goes for the men as well, all the time, but then expect to be treated like a lady or be treated like a man or whatnot, because that is a position that's supposed to be earned, period. And a lot of people don't want to live in that world. They live in this false world, where everything is supposed to go their way, and it's like Burger King. They're supposed to have it. You're supposed to have it your way. But even at Burger King, when you have it your way, you still got to pay. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to admit that they have to pay the piper when it comes to certain things like education, getting a job, buying a house, getting a car, paying bills, et cetera, and so forth, going on vacation. You got to pay the piper one way or the other. A lot of people don't want to live in that world. A lot of people are stuck in this place called fantasy, and it just makes me laugh. I really can't put it any other way. And when the truth is told to them, we live in a generation of when the truth is told to you, you go out of your way to get insulted instead of going out of your way to implement some critical thinking and say, hey, maybe I do need to step my game up. Maybe I do need to be a little bit more healthier. Maybe I do need to hit the gym. Maybe I do need to eat better. Maybe I do need to read more, listen to podcasts more, and whatnot, so I can increase my analytical skills and my skill sets. Maybe I need to attend more school. There's so many things maybe I need to do, but I won't do because I think I know everything, and that is the biggest problem and biggest drawback of a lot of women and a lot of men nowadays. Unfortunately, I mean, heck, even me. I like I said, the best thing about the pandemic for me is I was already trying to eat right and working out before the pandemic, but the pandemic made me want to work out more. One, and then two, be more healthy. I mean, heck, I'm drinking the what I drink most of the day is water. And I got lemon in there. I got green mint leaves in there. I got cucumbers in there. So I'm trying to be as healthy as possible. I'm taking my vitamins. I'm working out. I'm making sure I eat my salads. I got my fruits. I do my best to to be the best that I can be, because I want to be here as long as, you never know your number is going to be called. And that's another thing we have to learn about his death. Unfortunately, we know that life is short, and this is nothing that we can take for granted. But a lot of us love to go out of our way to take a lot of these things for granted because we think that tomorrow is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. And we saw what was happening with Kevin Samuels. He was in the prime of his life in the sense to where he could have been, I could have seen him being put on a platform like Spotify, to the point where he could have got bought out by Spotify or Apple, Roku, something to that effect. He was already appearing on other people's podcasts. I saw that happening for him in the long run or whatnot, because he's considered a relationship consultant and things of that nature. And a lot of times he was crude, a lot of times he was rude. I'm not going to say that he wasn't, but nobody forced anybody, man or female, to be on his program. So my mindset is this: when you go into somebody's house, expect to get treated accordingly to how especially when if somebody comes at you in a jerkish mentality, expect to be treated accordingly. It's not really rocket science, family. Let's just keep it real. It's not really rocket science, but for a lot of people, they have this preconceived notion that they're going to be treated in a different manner. It's like when people complain and whine like little kids when they get on a social media platform and then they get banned for saying something. Like I'm like, well, hey, do you own the product? And then of course, most times people will be like, well, that's besides the point. It's freedom of speech. I say, yeah, well, freedom of speech doesn't mean nothing until you own something. Okay, like with Elon Musk buying Twitter, people are like, yeah, it's going to be privately owned, so now we can have more freedom of speech. Okay, yeah, but what if he has investors that get involved and say, we don't like this freedom of speech? He might say, well, heck, why not? Okay, forget freedom of speech. It's all about the bottom line and the bottom dollar. Okay, and how you own it. And I have tenants in my rental properties. They might not even like me because I am who I am, but they don't even know who the owner is. They deal with the property management company. And that's all that matters. All I care about is, are you somewhat taking care of the property, and are you paying the bills on paying the rent on time? That's all that matters. Outside of that, there's no other conversation that needs to happen. Okay? Because the thing that people keep forgetting about the United States of America, everything, and I mean everything, is a transaction. I remember years ago having a conversation with Money Mike. God love that guy. Got to have him back on this platform again. And he was talking about how if you don't have a plan for your money, remember that everything else in this country has a plan for your money. But he went down all the holidays, even Mother's Day is tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, from Thanksgiving to Christmas to Valentine's, every single holiday, Cinco de Mayo, there is an agenda for you to spend your money. And there's an agenda for people to make money because they got to sell a product or a service for that specific holiday. People don't really want to think about that, because that takes the joy out of spending money carelessly and then crying like little children when they don't have enough money at the end of the month and whatnot. But I digress. But anyways, there's an exchange happening all the time. When you're born, you're given a social security number, identifies who you are and whatnot. When you're born, usually there's a hospital bill of some sort, whether you have insurance or you don't have medical insurance. Um, there's life insurance. That's a form of capitalism. It's a beautiful thing. I'm listing off all this stuff. Then you're born into a state, your specific county and state and whatnot. Hey, got to get a birth certificate. That's money being made and whatnot. You got to pay for that. You get married, you got to get a marriage license. There's money involved in that. You get a divorce, you got to get a lawyer. There's money involved in that. You got to sell off half your assets or liquidate or whatever when you get a divorce. There's money involved in that. People, there's a George. I mean, there's a George. There's a judge. There's a court case. There's court fees, court costs. And there's money involved. There's transactions involved on everything. You have kids. You got to pay for their clothing. You got to pay for a roof over their head. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for medical. You got to pay for extracurricular activities. Anything wrong with these things? Absolutely not. You're married. You're in a relationship. You're going to pay for dates. You're going to pay for rings. You're going to pay for a place to stay. You're going to pay for a car. They're going to pay to play in this thing called life. Let me say that again. You're going to pay to play in this thing called life. You want to go to a concert, you want to go to a game, you want to go on a vacation, whether you drive, or you take a train, whether you take a plane, you take a cruise ship, you are going to pay. But a lot of people do not want to do their best to work their butts off on increasing their economic value, but they rather go out of their way to increase flossing for the sake of flossing, and that's that. And a lot of time, like I said, that is a big truth that hurts, but nobody wants to hear that because then it takes the fun and joy out of everything, at least in certain people's minds. But all I have to say about Kevin Samuels is some of the stuff I agreed with, some of the stuff I didn't. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of the advice he gave out was good. A good chunk of it was taken from my favorite YouTuber and businessman, Jason Black, the Black Authority, who I was just listening to before I came on tonight and whatnot. But I will say with all sincerity, there's a lot of truth to power in what he spoke. And because when it comes, and everybody, men and women can agree on this, when it comes to relationships, a lot of people just don't agree. Men and women, they just don't agree. What the heck is this? Sorry, family, I got some spam in my chat box, and I'm going to delete that comment. There we go. So if the spam comes again in my comment section, you're going to be blocked, whoever you are. Just letting you know that now. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah. So at the end of the day, family, that's just what it is when it comes to Kevin Samuels. You know, he believed in empowerment. He believed in empowerment of many people. He in relationships. He believed in empowerment of people being power dynamics in regards to one another. In regards to people being able to, make money moves in various different ways. He told the truth when it comes to people. When you get a certain age, things are just not what it is. That's why when you get a certain age, you don't go out and do certain things as much as you used to. You can't. You don't go to nightclubs. You don't go travel as much as you used to. You have a family. You got to settle down. You got to become more of a homebody and whatnot. Everything changes. You know. And there's a season in everybody's lives and whatnot. That was a harsh truth that he told a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't want to hear that. A lot of people didn't want to hear those harsh truths. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those it is what it is situations, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? So was Kevin Samuels controversial? I don't think so, because my mindset is this: if you're speaking your truth to power, then I don't see you being controversial whatsoever. It is what it is. The only my mindset is being controversial. Alrighty, user blocked. Yep, thank you so much. Cool. So somebody wants to keep playing around. All right, cool. Yeah, but yeah. At the end of the day, that's my mindset. It's like to be able to speak the truth to power. That just meant a lot. And like a lot of people don't like a lot of things that Joe Biden says or Donald Trump says. That's fine. It's not the end of the freaking world. My mindset is as long as somebody doesn't physically assault you, then who cares? It's like do not lose sleep over somebody speaking their truth to power. It is not the end of the freaking world. I'm just keeping it real on that aspect, family. Just keeping it real. All right. So rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. I'm going to do a moment of silence for him. You will be missed. You put out a lot of great content and whatnot. Whether people liked it or not is at this point it's moot. But at the end of the day, he left a great legacy. My condolences goes out to him and his family. I will say that much. But he left a great legacy, and it's just it's sad to what happened. So I'm going to definitely do a moment of silence for Mr. Kevin Samuels. All right. Now, in other news, before I call it a night and whatnot, uh, there was some actual rumors going on and whatnot in regards to Will Smith and Jay Pinkett finally getting a divorce, because they're talking about it's going to intensify. Now, my personal opinion, it's been a long time coming, because they are the couple that proves at the end of the day that no matter how much money you have, no matter how much fame you have, you could be on top of the world. You could literally be on top of the world, but you could still be miserable as heck. A lot of times, money does not buy you happiness. Fame and fortune does not buy you happiness. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's a real reality that we have to live with, and a lot of people just don't want to, acknowledge that. In my personal opinion, it's like certain things you have to acknowledge in this life. All right, um, because in this instance, we know that this is going to cost Will Smith a lot of his money, but he's he's still going to be able to be happy, because I think when he went over to India to talk to a spiritual advisor, spiritual counselor, he's looking for healing or whatnot. Because the thing is, before this incident happened with him and Chris Rock, we know that Will Smith was once again on top of the freaking world. We know that. All right, but he because my mindset is Will Smith was obviously a volcano getting ready to erupt, because it's not really in his character. But everybody's a human being. Everybody has a bad day. I would have never handled the situation like he did, in that regard. Especially, my mindset is this: if you can't handle a joke, don't ever be around comedians. That's just what it is. Like I said, I'm so tired of this whole nonsense of get offended by comedians thing. It's like, I remember a guy, I was in Ontario, California, and the show was terrible. And this one Italian guy from New York came in and saved the show. The headliner was terrible on the freaking show. I forgot the name. That's how bad he was. I wish I remember the Italian guy's name from New York. He wasn't really a big comedian, but I could tell he was seasoned. And when I get to, I'm in there, I'm a light skinned black guy, and he says, he's like, oh man, I figured, the woman I was with, he's like, I figured She like black guys, and she's like, he is. He's like him. Hey, he looks Puerto Rican. I almost peed on myself. That's how hard I laughed. Okay, but that's what comedy's supposed to be. If you can't laugh at yourself, why go to a comedy show? It's just like the same thing with the Dave Chappelle thing. The guy comes try to stab him and whatnot. You can't take a joke. Don't go to a comedy show. It's like society without laughter is a society I don't want to live in. I'm just gonna keep it real on that one. A society without laughter is a society I do not want to live in. All right, but it's one of those. It is what it is situations. All right. But anyways, like I said, because I've seen the King Richard movie. Will Smith did a great job of portraying the Serena Williams and her sister's father. Brother that came from Shreveport, Louisiana to Los Angeles, Compton, California, specifically to make good for his family and whatnot. You know, but anyways, um, I'm going to read this article verbatim before I call it a night. It says, whether because the media pressure has been excessive or because this moment has been the tip of the iceberg in the couple's relationship, versions are gaining strength that the married couple is about to divorce, which will represent a huge legal battle that will divide Smith's fortune. He magazine cites Pinkett's cold reaction and lack of support for her partner after the media turned on Smith. No separation has been confirmed either party. All of these are rumors, but they keep on growing as the days go by, which I'm like, saw after this nonsense, I saw it happening. There were problems between them for years, but now they barely speak to each other. The tensions between them have been palpable. Sources have stated after 25 years, I can't believe they've been together for 25 years, man. Where does the time go? Including periods where the couple took time off and mid rumors of cheating, open relationships, Jada Pinkett would be entitled to half of Will Smith's fortune, no less than $350 million. Wow. Well, hey, $350 million. I mean, Will Smith's not going to be in the poorhouse because and I'm going to give my opinion on this. And like I said, if you don't like it, it is what it is. So, because like I said, in the United States, everything's a business. And if you want to get your emotions involved, show me how you get your emotions involved when you go to the grocery store and you got to pay $300, $400, $500 for some groceries. Because by myself, groceries cost almost $200. So I know people with kids, groceries cost around $300, $400, if not more. Okay, even with the cheap food. All right. So everything in the United States of America is a business. We know this. It's a capitalist country. It is what it is. All right. Article ends off saying that the potential division of assets would happen in the ways due to the laws of the state of California, which I love California, but that's the worst state to get married in. Nowadays, probably the worst state to do anything but take a vacation. Um, Pinkett would add her net worth, which is currently $50 million, amid of the $175 million. Okay. However, not everything has been decided, and it is expected that Smith and Pinkett will engage in a legal battle that could be bigger than that of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. So I'm going to end this off on this note. I'm not opposed to marriage. I'm not opposed to relationships, but I will say I'm opposed to people not wanting to have the adult conversation of saying that, hey, this could happen to you in 2022, because everybody wants to be fixated on the notions of we're in love, we're going to spend our lives together, and all that good stuff. And that at the end of the day, that gets old. It really does. That truly, truly, truly gets old. All right. And a lot of nobody, and if you and a lot of people get offended if you have a conversation about saying, hey, maybe we should, especially for those that are well-to-do, maybe we should have a prenuptial agreement. Like, that's one thing I can give Dr. Boyce Watkins, him and his wife. They actually had a prenup. Both professionals, both successful. They actually negotiated having a prenuptial agreement to protect themselves, because he's a businessman. His wife is a businesswoman, and they believe on approaching things from a business aspect. I know most people don't subscribe to that. That's fine. If you disagree, that's cool. It's not the end of the world to disagree with that. Not the end of the world to disagree with me. But what I'm saying is, I'm not I'm not taking sides between Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, but I know that Most people wouldn't be talking about Jada Pinkett now if she never would have married Will Smith. That's just what it is. She had her best acting career back in the '90s. Once that was over with, she hasn't been really the star of anything. Maybe one or two movies in the mid 2000s, but that's about it. Like, it is what it is. And I don't want to hear the excuse of having kids, because Angelina Jolie had a bunch of freaking kids and she found a way to have an acting career. So that's plenty of women have had kids and had acting careers. Heck, even Jennifer Lopez. So it's like, miss me with all that. It's like Angela Bassett, miss me with all that. Angela Bassett, I think she's in her late 50s, early 60s, looking like she's still in her 40s and still killing it with grown kids now. So miss me with all that. But I will say with all sincerity is that um, people that are well-to-do, men and women, because I've talked to women who are paying spousal support now. So this isn't just a man thing. I've talked to women because they made more than their husbands, or ex-husbands, that they're having to pay spousal support for their ex-husbands. I'm like, what? Because of the divorces. Everything in America is a business, family, and that is because we're not trained, especially us that have gone through public school. We're not trained to have that mindset of everything is a freaking business. That is the biggest reasons why. That is the biggest reasons why a lot of people are either not getting married because they don't believe in marriage, or two, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people stay in loveless relationships and loveless marriages and whatnot, because they're scared of what's going to happen if they leave a person after a certain amount of time. So heck, I I can't tell you how many miserable men and women I've talked to. I've had bosses that are like, yeah, I can't go to my. I remember this. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he talked like this. Well, I don't want to go home because my wife is there. And, that's just not cool. So I'm just gonna stay here till about 9 o'clock tonight, and then she'll be by that time she'll be asleep, and I can talk to my kids for a little bit. Then I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I'll come back to work first thing in the morning. That is not a life worth living. And this man made $200,000 a year. That's all I got to say about that. just keeping it real at the end of the day, family. It's just like, I just got to call like I said. So, Will Smith, I hope it was worth it. I know you loved your kids. I know you loved your family. I know at one time you and Jada had that one love, but was it really worth all that? Because unfortunately, it seems like Jada Pinkett needed a Tupac to be with, because, well, I don't even think that would have happened, because Tupac or another version of Tupac would have cussed the hell out of her every day. So that's just what it is. So it is what it is. Sometimes nice guys finish last. A lot of times nice guys finish last. But my mindset is this: I'm gonna end this night on this note. Remember, chase your happiness on your terms, not society's terms. Don't let some ring and some status reflect your happiness. Because I've been around a bunch of people that have the quote unquote status, and they're some of the most miserable individuals you ever meet on the freaking planet. You define your happiness, not society, not a book, not somebody else's opinion. You define your own happiness. Okay. That's all I got to say on that note. All right. So do the great 3 free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great and exceptional evening. Don't forget to check out the online store. Support your local entrepreneurs. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, bond investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorn, Crypto.com, Coinbase. All this stuff is in the description. You have the opportunity to not only make up to $900 worth of free stock once you put a penny in your account with the WEBULL account, but you'll be able to make $20 to $5 to $10 signing up with the other accounts. So just do your best to make money moves in this life so you don't live broke like a fool. All right. On that note, I'm out, family. You guys have a great night. All that good stuff. The souls that came to God. Hopefully you have a good night. Bye from me. All right. And I'm out.
Now?